This here is the fastest Maserati in the world. This is the first Maserati supercar that they've created in 40 years. And it is the MC20. This has butterfly doors and so many cool features that I'm going to show you guys in this tour. But first, I have a huge favor to ask you guys. A lot of you guys that have watched some of our videos haven't subscribed to the channel, and it would really help this channel a lot if you guys subscribed. It will give us the ability to do bigger, better homes, better cars and more content. I would really appreciate it. And for now, let's begin the tour. So before we actually go into the specs of the car, I want to appreciate that this is one of the most amazing cars that Maserati have done in 40 years. This is the first supercar that they've done in such a long time. The MC20 has got a lot to offer. Now, the thing is, Maserati have mainly been focusing on sedans, but I'm really impressed with what they actually have brought to us right now. Now, moving on to the specs, this is a 3-litre V6 620 horsepower engine, but the thing is, this is actually a mid-engine. A lot of the engines start at the bottom, but this is really cool. I like the fact that you can actually see the twin turbos here. Now, I'm actually not used to seeing engines this small on this channel. I mean, a lot of the cars that we actually tour, we see like V8 or V12. Funny thing is, a lot of people have actually said a few things about this car. They are not very impressed by it because of the V6 engine, but I've heard, allegedly, you car enthusiasts, don't come for me, apparently the Maserati is just as fast as the Lamborghini Huracan. So I guess we have to do a side-by-side test eventually at some point to prove some of you guys wrong. So before I actually move on to the side, I want to show you guys the trunk. Now, the trunk in itself is not incredibly spacious, but this car has a trunk and a frunk. It's got the package, guys. It's got the package. You know me, I always like to talk about the rear end, but the front end has definitely got something to offer. Now, I'm going to shut the trunk and I'm going to show you guys the back of the car. The side lights here resemble the Maserati Gran Turismo. Now, another thing as well is that you see so much carbon fiber here at the bottom, and you will see that throughout the car. A lot of the car is designed where it looks beautiful at the top. They wanted to make sure that it has a design at the top and performance at the bottom, and that's what the Maserati designer wanted to do. So if you guys can see here, this is very much so carbon fiber heavy on this side. Now, moving over to the roof of the car. So if you look closely here, you can actually see that this is the engine cover, and I really like the material that they actually used. It's transparent, but then right here, you've got the Trident logo, which is the Maserati logo, which I think looks incredibly cool. Now, if you look closely here as well, you can actually see this is the rear view mirror. So it's the camera fitted in nicely here, nicely put in, very clean, looks incredibly aesthetic. You can't really see anything other than perfection when you look at this car. So you even have the 20-inch wheels that are the carbon ceramic brakes. Now, if you look onto the side of the car as well, you can see the vents are actually hidden to keep to the Maserati aesthetic of keeping it very clean and simplistic for the MC20 design. Now, I mentioned to you guys earlier at the start that the bottom is designed for performance. And as you guys can see, you can see the carbon fiber all the way at the bottom of the car. Now, when you move to the side, it just looks spectacular. I mean, there is a reason why they've designed it like this, and they've done such a brilliant job. Now, even the side mirror design is actually borrowed from Ferrari itself. Now, moving over to the MC20 badge. So they have the MC20 on the other side as well. But just to give you guys an insight what it actually means, you've got Maserati Corsa 2020, Corsa meaning the racing year, and 2020 is the year of release. Now, moving on to the front of the car, you can see that it doesn't scream aggressive like the Huracan or these other supercars that you might see on the road. This has got some sort of sophistication, elegance, as I would like to say. See, the vents here are hidden. They wanted to make sure that it didn't have that aggressive stance on the road. But also you see these headlights here, and also the grille, they actually are exactly the same as the Gran Turismo. And they wanted to make sure they kept to that and pay homage to that beautiful car. We also have the Trident here, which is the redesign of the Maserati Trident, which has only been done for this car, which is pretty insane. Now, we've done all of that. Let me show you guys the frunk. So the frunk in itself, I mean, it hasn't got as much to offer as the trunk, but you can definitely fit a few things here. I like the fact that they've utilized the space. They've not just made it empty and not for you to be able to put anything in it. I mean, there's a few bits and bobs here. You've got the fire extinguisher and things like that. I mean, it's not bad. I could fit my Chanel bag in here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to save that for the trunk. Now, moving over to the inside of the car. So these butterfly doors, I mean, a really cool point to actually mention is that how are you going to be able to park this in somewhere like London or even Dubai Mall? You're going to have 2 parking spaces next to you. I mean, look at how much space it takes to get this door up. I mean, these aren't the lightest doors I have ever felt in terms of, like, you know, the aerodynamic reasons. I do think that they could have been a lot lighter, but if you look here on the inside of this car, you see the carbon fiber. And then come and check this out. The door in itself has no buttons. You can't control the windows from here. You can only press the button to actually release the door for you to be able to push it up. And you also have the leather strap here as well. And then we also have the MC20 logo here on top of carbon fiber at the bottom of the car. But I mean, look at this. I really can't get over the fact that this takes up so much space. I mean, I'm going to open the other side of the door as well to show you guys how big this car can actually be and how much space it actually takes. I mean, you definitely need about 2 parking spaces for that. You need 1 on each side to be able to open that car and for you and the passenger to be able to get out easily. I mean, you guys let me know in the comments, what is the solution for this? Now, I'm going to get inside of the car. Getting into this car is quite a problem. I had to cramp over and do all sorts of stretches I've not quite done before. And I'm not sure why. I always find it incredibly uncomfortable to get into a supercar. I also felt the same with the McLaren. Every single supercar I am just not comfortable in. Now I'm going to shut the door. I'm going to pull that leather strap, shut the door in. I mean, it's quite comfortable when you get in, but getting out seems to be the problem. Now, when I'm in this car, this actually reminds me of the Mercedes AMG 1. It's very, very simplistic, very minimalistic, and you've got everything right here. You've got not much going on. They kept it very aesthetic, very clean. Obviously, you've got the suede finish, you've got the leather, yellow stitching, which resembles the outside, and then the seats here as well. So these are not exactly bucket seats. It's a bit more round, as you guys can see from the design. You've got the Maserati Trident logo here, the yellow stitching. It seems as if they didn't know whether they wanted to create a performance car or a luxury car. That's how I feel about the seats, but they are a lot more comfortable than bucket seats, if I'm honest with you guys. I really like the fact that these are a bit more round. They're more supportive to the back, let's say. Now we're going to go over to the wheel. So the wheel in itself, you've got the Trident logo here, you've got the start stop button, and I'm going to start the car for you guys as well. A lot of people don't really love the sound of this car, and I'm not sure why, and I quite like it. I think it sounds beautiful. I'm just going to... Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, I showed you guys the rear view mirror at the end of the car, at the top of the roof, and here we've got it here, and you can actually see the Bugatti behind us. It's got the cover on, and you can see it right here. You can flick this button, turn it off and on, which I think is pretty cool. You've got this beautiful infotainment screen, let's say, and I mean, it's pretty sleek. You can actually see the car, all the details here, all the tire pressure, the overview of the car really. I mean, it's not bad. I like the fact that it's very clean and there's not so much going on, and you can actually pick the modes you want to drive. You've got wet, you've got sport, you've got the Corsa mode as well, the GT. I mean, all in all, it's not bad at all. Now, another thing about this car is the fact that you actually have to put the AC on the infotainment screen. You'll notice there's no buttons here. There's nothing for you to be able to switch and turn on. You have to go onto this screen, you have to push the buttons, which is a contradictory to what Maserati tried to create. They wanted to create the comfort, they wanted to make it seamless, very elegant, but this is quite annoying. For someone like myself, I would prefer just to put the AC on with a button, but I have to go onto the screen and do it all myself. And then also, behind us, we also have the engine of the car, which is very, very similar to the Mercedes AMG 1. I don't really like the engine being behind me. I prefer it at the front, but it explains why they have fire extinguisher in the front. Now moving on to this, you've got the carbon fibre in the middle, and then you've got the reverse button here, and then this is the button that you can press for drive, and if you press it twice you can go to manual if you want to go for racing and things like that. Now this bit here, I mean, you can actually turn it around and the center console actually changes each time you turn it into a different mode. Now you've got the GT, Sport and Corsa. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rev the engine on the GT for you guys to hear the difference it has, and when we move it to Corsa you guys will definitely hear it. That's in the GT mode. Now we're going to go into Sport. Sounds good. And then we're going to go into Corsa. Oh, that's pretty insane, guys. So I think all in all, I am pretty impressed with this car. It has so much to offer. I'm very, very happy with how they've designed this. It's got a very, very sleek look to it. Now I want to talk to you guys about this. Now you see here, you've got a latch, which is right there on the side of the door for you to actually be able to get out of the car. Now you're probably thinking, Hamida, why would I need a latch there when I've got the door? Well, this is an electronic car, so if this actually fails, you can't turn on the AC. You don't have access to the infotainment screen. This is actually an electronic door, so you can't actually push the button to actually open the door for you to actually be able to get out. So you actually have something that's manual right there on the side of the seat for you to be able to get out of the car very easily and seamless. I mean, it's a good thing. They had a good thought process about it, but I can really understand why they actually did it. And I'm impressed. They've thought about all the worst case scenarios and we all seem to be happy with that. Now I'm going to take you guys outside. I'm going to show you guys the key in a bit more detail. This is the key of the car. Now I want to show you guys it in a bit more detail. I mean, look at this. It's very, very heavy. I like the fact that it feels like that. You've got the Trident logo as well. I mean, it doesn't feel plastic like a lot of the other keys that I've seen. I'm quite impressed with the finishing of this key. Now I've thoroughly enjoyed showing you guys this car. I have to say there's a few pros and cons, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what car we should definitely tour next, and I will see you guys in the next one.